Welcome to this week's episode of Rap and Order. I'm Taurian B, and First Class Regg isn't here. I'm taking over, everybody. This week, we are doing Kanye West's album, The Life of Pablo, T-Lop. This album was released on Valentine's Day of 2016 through Good Music. It was distributed through Def Jam Records. Recording sessions took place between 2013 and 2016 in Italy, Mexico, and Canada. He had co-executive producers Rick Rubin and Noah Goldstein. Now, we know that Rick Rubin tends to strip everything away from albums, but, neither here nor there. We have guest vocals from Chance the Rapper, Kid Cudi, Designer, Rihanna, The Weeknd, Ty Dolla $ign, Post Malone, Kendrick Lamar, Sia, Vic Mensa, and Young Thug. And we also have features from Max B, and we also have a feature from Andre 3000. Really, really quick. They're very fast, but also Kelly Price and Charlie Wilson. Can't forget that. Like, people tend to forget that they're on the album. Now,
and Ty Dolla $ign.
And Ty Dolla $ign.
Yeah, Ty Dolla $ign.
I mentioned Ty Dolla $ign. Rob, let me do this. I know what I'm doing, baby. This album was nominated for 5 Grammys at 2017 Grammys, including Best Rap Album, Album of the Year. It was like a lot. It was like a lot of backlash because of that, though, because a lot of publications felt like it didn't deserve to be nominated with that. The album wound up going double platinum, and before that, if you remember, the album was leaked and it was downloaded 500 million times. So no, 500,000 times. 500 million would be crazy. 500,000 times it was illegally downloaded before it was even on other streaming services. That was a big deal because if you remember, it was originally on Tidal. And Kanye hated that. He was really upset about that because he wanted it on all streaming platforms. So this was the first album the reason why this album was groundbreaking, because this was the first album, there were no physical copies when it was originally released. It was only on streaming platforms. So it was it was kind of like a new thing. And Kanye was really against a lot of it. And I think that was also a part of the rift with him and Tidal and Roc Nation, or Rockefeller, because there were a lot of things that he was against and a lot of things that he was used to with the old guard. And then he kind of like conformed to it. Like once he realized like, oh, I can just update the album as much as I want. And that was some people didn't like that. And some people loved it because Kanye is a perfectionist. Imagine if Kanye can go back and fix The College Dropout as much as he wants and as many flaws as The College Dropout has. Now, some people would say, oh man, I love The College Dropout the way it is, but I'm pretty sure Kanye, if he could fix some drums or fix the way he sounds on certain songs, re-rap Through the Wire because he rapped that while his mouth was wired shut, that would be really cool for him. So I'm going to slow down the talking and just give the last tidbits that I have about the opening of the album. Now, throughout the process, we had many names. So Help Me God, we had Waves, and what was the other name of the album that
Swish?
It's Swish. Now, when it was So Help Me God, that was when he did that amazing promo at the Brit Awards, and he had everybody on the stage, all the grime rappers, and he performed All Day Nigga, and that song was amazing. That performance was amazing, and that when the album was originally going to have a darker tone before Chance the Rapper came in and gospeled it up, but that's neither here nor there. Then he said it was going to be Swish because, that was him signifying jumping over the Jumpman. And then he said Waves, and that just made the entire internet lose its minds because everybody said that the wave belongs to Max B. So with that, everybody give me your opening statements.
Who's going first?
I would like to start.
Go ahead, ladies first. Hey, Jade.
Hey, what's up? Hey, everybody. I think it's his last great album. I really do. I think it's one of the last times we as much as he was kind of spiraling towards the end of this album cycle, it was the last full normal Kanye as we knew and grew with Kanye that we got album cycle. He gave us merch And that was like, actually, I feel like the biggest takeaway, I feel like more from the release of the album was more of the merch setup and him transitioning with the fashion show as the premiere for the listening session at the Garden for the release of the album. I felt like that was just a full package that we got from Kanye. And then we kind of had to see him kind of unravel towards the end of the tour for this thing. But I felt like merch was never the same after this album. Like literally, merch drops was never the same after this album. This album was highly influential, I think. And even what he did with the tour stuff was highly influential, considering he did kind of jack it from the South African artists. But I just felt like this was the last full pieces of Kanye that we loved and grew up with Kanye for the 10 to 15 years that we was going to get. And this was the last great Kanye album of him rhyming, because I wasn't even that, because I remember at first came out was No More Parties in LA. No, it was one of the other songs first came out. And I wasn't that crazy about it. And then I heard No More Parties in LA, and I was like, wait, this may be a great album. Because one of the other singles, I can't remember which one it was that was on the album, it kind of came out, and I was like, eh. And then No More Parties in LA came out, and I was like, if this is what we getting, I'm here for it. And no other rapper would be able to even do a fashion show and have Vanessa Beecroft and high influential people in art do an album release and do a fashion show that lead into a line. Nobody would be able to pull it off like him. So I just think it was a great feat. He did a lot of things that really shifted music culture and what music artists use to kind of supplement their albums, money and income besides music. And this was a big start of what we have as industry now.
I want to piggyback off that real quick. So at that fashion show at MSG, that was his third fashion show, and it had everyone, a lot of the people that are all of the it kids on the internet now, he had them there. Like, remember, like Sheck West was still in high school at this time. He was a senior in high school, and he skipped his playoff game, and he was like highly recruited. He probably could be in the NBA. Who knows? If he would have played in that game and did really good, went to a good D1 college and went to the NBA. But he had to be in that fashion show because he knew that something else was on the horizon. Like, I think it was in the midst of getting his deal and getting signed anyway, and he was already a model.
Yeah.
Ian
Little
Connor
Yachty was in that show.
Ian Connor was in that fashion show. Like, I know so many girls that are like IG girls that were in that fashion show.
Little Yachty was in that show.
Yes, he was. Little Yachty was in that show, and that was before like he dropped his mixtape that changed his life. It was just really, that was a huge event, and everybody was in that audience. Like, everyone. Remember, that was the first time we saw Lamar Odom since he almost died at the Bunny Ranch.
Facts.
Yeah, so like that was also like a really, really big thing. And one other thing,
it was the first time we had seen Cudi in a while too.
Yes, it was, and that was
we had not seen Cudi in a long time, like until we saw him with that.
Yeah, and that was the first time we saw Cudi's new teeth, I think, too.
Wow.
Nah, we seen that like maybe a year or two before.
Okay. So who else wants to go next on their opening thoughts on this album?
I'll go.
Okay.
I think aside from My Twisted Dark Fantasy, this is Kanye's most important album next to My Twisted Dark Fantasy. Reason being is because I feel like this album represents a timestamp in Kanye's personal life, simply because we've gotten all these albums prior to this one album, and all of these albums are Kanye being single. Kanye being, the fly dude that he is, the icon that he is. And then we have The Life of Pablo, where this is the album where he gets introduced to being a father. Feel me? So you got songs like Wolves, where, the first verse and I think the last verse is dedicated to North, where, he's talking about like, listen, your mom was a freak and there's a porno out there about it. I'm a freak too, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that TMZ got on me, and I don't know how you're going to react to that when you get older. So I'm telling you now, like, it's not going to be pretty when you get older, and it's going to be a little difficult. So, but then in the same breath, you also have Kanye on like the second verse, who's embracing everything that he's admitting to North and to Kim. What else? There's so much to unpack with this album. I feel like this is a perfect timestamp. This is a perfect album for Kanye. I love this album. There's probably like maybe one song that I would take off of this, but nonetheless, like, this is a timestamp. This is an important album for Kanye, and I just can't wait until we just get into it to talk about it more.
Next.
All right, I guess I'll go. So for me, this was definitely one of the last times where an album release, especially from Kanye, felt like a huge groundbreaking moment. And yeah, obviously Jade and Taurian touched on this already, but yeah, like it was one of the last times where it just felt so grandiose and so epic that if you were a fan of music, much less hip hop, you just kind of had no choice but to turn your attention towards this thing that was happening. And also for me personally, it was one of the last albums that I listened to from front to back multiple times within one day. And yeah, like it was a fun listen because it was something different at the time. And also, you know, it's new Kanye. Like, who doesn't love new Kanye, especially when it's good? And I affectionately call it tilapia because, you know, like the actual fish, the tilapia fish, like it's important in some circles and some cultures, but in other parts of the world, it's a very invasive species that they're trying to get rid of. And that to me kind of represents the view of the life of Pablo. A lot of people view it as this important cultural moment and as such a great album, but then other people just see so many negative things about it and they just like, I can live without that.
That was a great analogy.
Next.
Hi, my name is Robbie Digital. I fucking hate Life of Pablo.
You a bitch.
Yo.
Don't react. Don't react.
My point exactly.
Don't react.
You a bitch. Kick this guy off already.
Taurian is laughing. Don't react.
This was a perfect segue from what Jamesy said. Like, perfect. Like, I could not think of a better segue into literally, like, the three of us and then into literally what Rob is about to say. Wow. What a moment.
I hate this album.
Go ahead, Rob.
I remember hearing All Day Nigga and New Slave. Oh, wait, All Day Nigga. I was like, this is incredible. I think at that time, we hadn't heard about Vic Mensa much. So Vic Mensa was a big deal for this album as well. Theopolis London was a big deal at that time because of vibes. So I was like really excited when I heard a couple people were sneaking kind of on these tracks. And it leaked, I want to say maybe that December or that January, we had got All Day Nigga. Then I got No Parties in LA. And when I got No Parties in LA, I was like, oh my God, this may beat out Twisted Dark Fantasy. At that time, it was too early to tell, but I was just like, yo, the way he got this Kendrick Lamar verse, Kendrick's coming off the where he was in his career, and I think for every great artist, there's certain people that you have to work with in your career, and Kendrick had already came off of getting a Jay-Z feature, so getting a Kanye West feature for him kind of goated him out of the rest of the group, or just put him in the same place as like Drake at the time. So then I'm like, all right, cool. February comes. I distinctly remember recording my first podcast in the excitement of talking about this album and the anticipation for this album. And Jade walks in the room with a Life of Pablo t-shirt. 3 weeks before the album dropped. Didn't even know what the fucking merch was at the time. She was like, what the fuck is this shirt? And she's like, don't worry about it. You'll see it in a week. I said, okay, cool. I spent $30
I have to
go sit.
clarify this
No,
story.
I'm talking. I am talking.
Okay,
It's my turn.
All right,
It's my turn. I am talking.
Yeah.
I spent $30 American to go to a movie theater to see this anticipation of this album. And I sat and I'm like, yo, I hear Ultralight Beam and I damn near cry. I did. It was a beautiful song. And then I hear Father Stretch My Hands. And this nigga, and I don't mean that in a positive. I put bleach in someone's asshole and it stained my shirt. Does that make me an asshole? And I sat and I said, where the fuck is this album going? Kanye West. But I had already paid my $30 and I was already in for this ride. Not only did I pay $30, I paid money to get a t-shirt as well. That was also fucking late. And the album was fucking late. And then the album was incomplete. And then the album kept getting redone. And redone and redone and redone. For all we fucking know, the album is still being fucking redone. It was fucking lazy. It didn't have any lyrical content. It didn't have any lyrical meaning. He was just fucking rambling. There was all a bunch of beats. And he knew niggas hated this album. Because he knew we missed the old Kanye. And he said that Kanye wasn't coming back. And I had to live with this shit. Now, granted, this is the last good album we got from Kanye West. But that is not good in a good sense. So I don't want people to take this as such a triumphant historical album as Elijah said, because that's fucking wrong. It is probably the worst album in Kanye West's discography prior to the 2-3 albums that we've received currently.
You are bugging.
Wow.
I'm finished.
So correction, Taurian. I did not have the shirt before the Madison Square Garden release thing. I got the shirt that I just happened to have a friend who happened to meet Virgil Abloh on the street and was given a ticket that day to go to the show. So while everybody else was ordering their shirts and things like that, I actually had a friend who went really fucking early to the Garden and was able to get me a shirt. So by the album, like literally when people was just seeing Kanye and kind of wondering when the merch was coming, I already had a shirt. So we recorded our podcast the next, within a couple of days of that Madison Square Garden show, and I already had a good amount of the merch. So I did not actually literally 3 months later.
All right. So what I want to do right now is just clarify this. Rob didn't give me any points. If I'm a person I've never heard this album, all I heard was Rob bitch about a shirt, and that's why he doesn't like the shirt.
That's really what it is. It came.
He doesn't like the album because of the shirt, and then he heard Kanye rap about bleaching the asshole, and he didn't know where this was going. That didn't tell me much, but I guess as we get deeper into the album, he'll explain which tracks he doesn't like or what problems that he has. But
exactly,
I have a really good feeling I'm going to be able to debunk that he hates this album, the album period. And I think that what he's turned off by is what Regg was also turned off by, what it took for the album to be released, because there were a lot of pump fakes of the release of the album, because after the fashion show, the album still wasn't on Tidal because Kanye was still updating it. And Chance the Rapper, and if you remember, Chance the Rapper was still adding things to the album as well.
Yes, it was a lot of tweaks.
There was a lot of tweaks and a lot of last minute things, and it was really frustrating with that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll go last. It's gonna be simple. Sadly, you won't. Nobody will be arguing with me. Sadly, because I actually enjoyed the album. I enjoyed the rollout for it, like Madison Square Garden. But besides the politics behind that, and and free tickets and stuff, I think it was like a real cool release event to do. Being that I do events curation, I think that was very iconic to have it in Madison Square Garden. He said it was a playlist, and I take it I take it for what the artist said it was. So it had different music on here from a different genre feel. I don't I personally, I don't categorize this as a rap album. I just categorize it as a cool album. it was like really, really, really cool to hear. It might be probably like 2 songs or 3 max that I skip, but other than that, I just really like sonically. I really love this album. I know it's not like any lyricism on there, but we've heard many albums with no lyrics on it, and we enjoy it. So I really, really did enjoy.
Okay, so a couple other things about the album, like because it's really long-winded, right? Remember when he put out TLOP, and we were trying to like guess what the name of the album was, and we couldn't figure it out, and he said it was The Life of Pablo, and it was for 3 Pablos: Pablo Escobar, Pablo the Apostle, and Pablo Picasso.
Yeah.
He put out those 3 things, and that was really cool. And then we got the album cover, and it was like the beginning of Kanye, like kind of like the do-it-yourself kind of things. And I think that was a little confusing and frustrating for people as well. So
I think also too, it was just a different graphic style. That graphic style everywhere.
Exactly.
That's a really popular graphic style that a lot of kids who were in college and in early graphics classes at that time, that was
I really
graphic
enjoy
style that everybody was Nike. But at the time, it seemed really plain and really cheap, considering that he had like a George original on one of the albums. It seemed really infantile, but that's why I said this album's great, because it just started off a lot of things that people didn't realize are standards now, but at the time he was really ahead, really, really ahead, I think, with Jesus and Life of Pablo. And those things became standards that we realized in the 5 years kind of after the albums came out. But at the time, I'd say those 2 albums, more than any albums, were the most ahead he was of the curve of what was to come, and kind of everything kind of fell into what he was trying to push.
And let's get into the visuals that he provided for us. You know, the Wolves visual was like really, really good to me. I really enjoyed it. And also Fade, like the music video for Fade, I think definitely put Tiana Taylor more out there, and it got her, you know,
with the Fade video.
Yeah, it got her more cred, and
yeah,
that Fade video was really, really
amazing.
Very
we wouldn't
hard.
even be checking for her really if it wasn't for that video. That video changed her whole career.
And that's why I say like this album really. I mean, it depending on what you like. I'm like this album was good to me.
Right.
Like, and what came with it was better. Like everything out, like the album was good, but everything outside the album made it even like better. Like that moment was like really good. Like this Kanye really knows how to take a moment and stretch it out.
Right. And
Kanye albums are like suns. They're like suns. Kanye albums are like suns, and other planets slowly form around them as time goes on. And I think we have had time to see that formation from other things, and I think we don't realize how much of a system jumped off in so many different areas in culture and music started from this album. But it will be discussed later. But that album is a sun, and a lot of people have formed and became things that we have to regard or even discuss because of that album.
Right. And also, the album is kind of him, and Rob talked about it a little bit, it's kind of a duality thing, because on the album cover, he has a picture of his family when he was a kid. Then he has a picture of the model, Shanice Halil. She's a bikini model and a Kim K lookalike, you might say. So it was like family bitches, basically, is what the cover was about, right?
Yeah.
And I think that Kanye was at a crossroads because he was becoming like a real life family man. And
he did the corridor.
Yeah. And that's a huge sacrifice when you're one of the biggest artists in the world. You can have any woman that you want. But then you're realizing, because as we saw with this album, he was beginning his spiritual journey, and he was dealing with like a lot. And we saw that during the St. Pablo tour, because every St. Pablo tour, everyone knew to come to realize, like, all right, he's going to take 20 minutes just to talk and vent and get things out. And that was a lot as well. The St. Pablo tour was also groundbreaking, because it was something that he was with his tours. He always compete. He doesn't compete with other rappers. He competes with U2. So if you think about that, have you ever seen a U2 tour set? It's insane. The last the last tour that I got to see for Kanye was the Glow in the Dark tour. No, I'm lying. I saw Watch the Throne. Well, Glow in the Dark was solely his, and Kanye puts a lot of money into what he wants to give us. So with those visuals, that was great, and that was really dope. But before I started, I just want to say that I think The Life of Pablo is every single one of his albums packed into one, and that's why it was considered a musical playlist, because it was all of the sounds and every element of Kanye. There wasn't a lot of lyrical Kanye on the album, but he had No More Parties in LA. He got lyrical, and I felt like Saint Pablo. He got lyrical, and he like tried to like step out of that. And some people probably didn't like that he wasn't as lyrical as he's tried to be, but I think Kanye is kind of like veering away from that because he does so many other things. Think about like what he was doing with the merch. What was the guy's name? Cali Thornhill DeWitt.
Mm-hmm.
He did the pop up wit at Dover Street Market, and I just think like he has so many things going on that his main focus isn't rapping anymore, which sucks. But when he does decide to rap, I think he gives us really good work. If nobody else has any other things to chime in on, I'm gonna get started and we're gonna start going tracks.
Let's get into it.
Just right quick, I'm sorry. The tour, to go back to it, like he was performing on a like he was performing underneath the crowd and like on
top of the crowd and on a floor.
Excuse me, yes, on top of the crowd. Like that was like really amazing. I've never seen that before, and that's what even like makes me want to listen to the album more because of things. It's just innovation of Kanye is like really, really beautiful.
All right, so we're gonna get into the first song. The first song is Ultralight Beam. Mind you, this album has over 100 writer credits on it. Ultralight Beam, for it just to be the opening track, just is insane, and it features vocals from The Dream and Kelly Price and a verse by Chance the Rapper and Kurt Franklin, and a 10-piece choir as well, right? So for that, we saw it performed on Saturday Night Live, and that's when Kanye had the huge meltdown.
My friend said that was one of who worked at SNL. She said that was one of the most chaotic appearances on SNL that she did. And sometime after that, she left. And she was working in the music department. She left after that Kanye performance because it was so chaotic.
I think that also solidified Chance the Rapper. I think that was like Ultralight Beam is Chance the Rapper's peak because he bodied that song. But since then, Chance the Rapper hasn't given me shit. And
exactly,
like it was like
Christianity
really
the Rapper, I'm not a fan of.
Like it just was weird. Like he took a huge turn after that because Coloring Book was a huge project that he put out at the time. Because Coloring Book was a mixtape, but he sold it to Apple Music, and that's a whole nother Rap in Order episode. But like Chance the Rapper changed music in a sense with that. But the way it started off was really good. I mean, he had the viral girl that was saying the prayer, warning off demons, and I just was really taken in by the song. It was a really powerful song and a great way to open the album.
That's crazy that family sued him later, and I think they got money from him because he took the video like off Twitter of that audio and he used it, but he hadn't ever cleared the thing with the family, and they later sued him for that sample of that little girl.
Rightfully so.
Hey, listen, get your money, feel me?
Huh?
You said,
I said, listen, like, yo, get your money. I ain't mad. I ain't mad.
I mean, he didn't clear it.
Yeah, because he did everything so much on the fly. But yeah, anybody else got anything to say about the first song on the album, the opening track?
So the list of producers go: Kanye West, Mike Dean, Chance the Rapper, Swiss Beats, Rick Rubin, Plain Pat, DJ DS, Noah Goldstein, and Derek Watkins. I wish I could have sat in on the whole project just to see which producer turned which knob, which producer added
Let's see
what
these splits.
Like the splits.
Let's see these splits for like Pablo.
Yo, like it's so many producers here. Like I can't even like. It's just so much. Like it really, really stuck out to me. And it's not the album, not just the first track. Just throughout the album, is just so many variations of styles here. I like it though. I love it. I love it.
I feel like this
good.
album was secretly the rise of Mike Dean, and I don't think that's really talked about enough. Because I felt
is
like
it the rise? Is it like
it was the rise of his notoriety, because at that time when they were telling us that the album was on hold, Mike Dean like had to tell everybody like, hold on, I'm mixing it, and everybody's like if you're a music fan, you know who Mike Dean is, and you know that he's very prominent in Texas with a lot of artists from Texas, right? And he has ties to Rap-A-Lot and Jay Prince and or UGK and Scarface and all those artists. And I believe like he met Kanye early on when he worked on Look Who's Back, and Kanye kept Mike Dean with him forever after that. But yeah, like Mike Dean became like after that. If you didn't know who Mike Dean was, you absolutely knew who he was after that.
But then also too, he really showed off. I feel like Mike Dean he became a household name, but I felt like he really got to show himself more with the Travis albums that came after Life of Pablo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So even Travis, I think Travis and became literally household names, literally the next year,
right
after Life of Pablo.
Yeah, because I believe when Travis Scott's career like first started, like his dad has a musical background.
Guys, I gotta go. I gotta dip out. But
all right, Jade, love you. Thank you for coming in.
Jade, peace.
But
yeah, peace.
Mike Dean and Travis Scott, like that's how their relationship started, and I think Mike Dean is the one who kind of introduced Travis to a lot of people when he first came to New York, if I'm not mistaken. From that, Eli introduced me to Travis Scott, but that's another story as well. Give Eli his credit. We're going to move on to the next song. Unless you got anything, James?
Yeah, I was going to make a couple points. I think the fact that the back end of this album was so accessible kind of showed everybody, the general public, the layman, that there's so much that happens behind the scenes, especially for one track, such as Ultralight Beam, that has just numerous credits on it. And so I feel like we all got, with everything that happened on this album, even just this one record, like we all got kind of like a taste of like, whoa, like how does this work? How does that work? And that to me was really cool. And two, I feel like with every album, Kanye always seems to, shall we say, attach himself to a particular artist. And this time it happened to be Chance the Rapper. And you can definitely see Chance the Rapper's footprints on everything.
I would
especially
say
this first track. Yeah, like
a muse.
Yeah, so
for each album, there's a muse artist that he
exactly. Like previous times, it was like Pusha T, Kid Cudi, Young Jeezy. Kanye had this weird fascination with Young Jeezy's voice at one point.
Yeah,
so it was. But yeah, I love this as an opening track, because not to say that Kanye didn't possess this kind of musicality before, but this was just ultra epic. Like it was such a grand that you just had to, even if you felt doubtful about this album.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, because just like everyone else, like as soon as it dropped on Tidal, we were out here getting it on downloads, like illegal downloads, and I was one of those people that definitely illegally downloaded it. But the beautiful part about this was waking up in the morning to go to work, hopping on the train, pressing play on the album. And as soon as this record starts, like you hear the girl talking, and she's doing her her thing. We get into the record, but then it comes into that middle part when it comes to the bridge, where you have Kelly Price and Kurt Franklin giving their prayers, and you wait, and it's beautiful because it ties in with you waking up in the morning, going to work, going about your day, and here you go listening to this beautiful interpretation of what Kanye sees as a new modern sound for gospel music. And I'm sorry, but if you didn't get any type of goosebumps listening to this one song, I still get goosebumps to this listening to this one song to this day. But this is just a beautiful record. It does something to your body. It does something to your spirit. It does something to your heart. Kanye caught one on this one. Like, this is beautiful. This is timeless music. Everything about this record is perfect.
I agree. There's something that holds a special placeholder.
Yeah.
It captures a moment. To hear Kelly Price again was a big moment for me. And I think because of how it starts, I just don't like how people compare this album to like a gospel album. And I think that was unfair. As someone who is a Christian and grew up in the church, I see where the resonance come, where the verses come from, but this album goes definitely a different path after this.
I mean, yeah, but it's just Kanye. It was like, I wouldn't say the whole album is, but like the songs are Kanye's interpretation of how gospel music should be. It was kind of like Kanye bringing Hillsong to the mainstream. That's all it was. But we're going to move into the next song. So we're going to go into Father Stretch My Hands Part 1, which features Kid Cudi and Kelly Price. And this was him and Cudi working together for the first time again, which was in a while. And it was pretty cool to hear that. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. You know, it was just something where I was like, wait a second, what is going on here? Like, I enjoyed the fuck out of it.
And then you got the famous if Metro don't trust you, he gonna shoot you. Like, granted, Metro Boomin already had that drop, but it was something hearing that drop on Kanye's album, and then just this beautiful opening to this turned up record of gospel music. Like, who would have thought that you could have basically a club record of a gospel song? And I'm not the biggest like gospel follower. I don't know shit about gospel music, but I'm pretty sure maybe they have like hints of past songs on this level. But I know for me, this was my introduction to, I guess, like gospel trap. Like, this is fucking,
you know Ray Charles, right?
Yeah.
Right, he said gospel
right, shut the fuck up.
No, Rob, he said gospel gospel trap. He didn't say his introduction to gospel music being in a pop song. We know that Ray Charles used a lot of gospel songs to make pop records, and that was considered blasphemous when it happened. But you got to stop this, Rob. We know you want to get your point across in this episode, but if you're going to get your point across in this episode, you got to wait, because you have stuff loading that you want to say, and you didn't even let Eli finish. He said gospel trap.
Exactly, Rob. Nonetheless, I think this was a perfect follow-up to Ultralight Beam, because with Ultralight Beam, it was more of like a refreshing start. You know, you feel good. You kind of have that, not to be so cheating, not to be so, I guess, like cliche about it or whatever, but like, you know, just, I guess, like catching the Holy Spirit. And then you go on to this one, it's just like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? And then that leads into the third track, but we're not there yet. So yeah, but nonetheless, I think this is a great song. Cool.
We're going to go into part 2.
Anything else?
So he continued it and went into part 2, and then he did a flip of the fledgling Brooklyn artist Designer's Panda. And that was really cool, because at the time he signed Designer, which was really smart on Kanye's part, because he had that connection with Steven Victor, who wanted to bring him in, and they got him a deal over at Def Jam. I think that they allow.
I miss hearing Designer talking ad-libs.
I bet you do. So hearing part 2 and like hearing Kanye flip the beat and what he did with it was brilliant. I don't think anyone else could have. I'm lying. A lot of people probably could have flipped it and did just as good. But the energy, like, he gave that song like another 4 to 5 months after that song had already.
A whole brand new life.
Kanye breathed new life into the song. That I could have been to Kanye's success and Designer's detriment, because then after that it became Kanye's song in a sense. Like, when Designer performs it, you kind of only want to hear the Father Stretch My Hands part of it. But it was it was a good turn. Like, it was a good switch. Like, and when I would hear it at parties, like, I would always get excited and always be hyped to hear it. Him just doing that flip and just being in touch. So whether somebody's telling him like, yo, this is what the kids are doing or whatever like that, I just thought it was really dope that he was able to know that this was the hottest rap song in America and take it and make it his and actually sign the guy, you know, and bring some notoriety to it. And I think it's also dope that he knew, like he did on part one when he had Metro Boomin. It was like Metro Boomin was the hottest producer at the time, and he knew that line was significant everywhere. And then on part two, have the hottest artist work with him, I thought was brilliant. It was great. And remember, and also I forgot. Remember, at this time, people was calling Designer the future clone. They was calling him
dummies.
That's right.
So going from a Metro Boomin signature line into Designer was kind of like tongue in cheek, I think.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I remember sitting watching in the movie theater when I heard it, and I heard Young Metro. When I heard Metro Boomin, I was like, "Is Future on this? If Future's on this, this is a different type of level." Because at the time we were coming off Dirty Sprite, I believe, or we were coming off Dirty Sprite, if I'm not mistaken. So to hear Future with Kanye, it was a big deal at that time. So I assumed that when I heard Metro Boomin, it was, and then I was like, this is not Future. Who is this? And I think a lot of people on the internet was kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah, a lot of
Julius said, although Julius said,
one of those people.
Although Julius said they were dummies, I think it was a very common misconception.
Bro, it's voice.
You heard because of Metro Boomin.
Son, no. They did not sound the same. They still don't sound the same. Like, I just don't get it. Voice diction means
when
nothing.
the album first dropped, knew that
voice diction means nothing in America? Yeah, that's what you're telling me? The diction of voice means nothing in America.
Wait, what?
Next song.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next song, which is Famous. Famous has production credits from Kanye West, Havoc, Charlie Heat, Hudson Mohawk, Mike Dean, Plain Pat, and Noah Goldstein, and what Dawson? And I forgot his first name, something Dawson, but he's on that as well, right? So Famous was interesting because of the Taylor Swift line and the whole controversy that came with it. He has a verse where he says, "I still feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. I made that bitch famous." So that was a huge thing because people took it like, damn, why he call her a bitch and it's a white woman? So a lot of people were up in arms about that. And then even Taylor Swift, when she won an award, I forgot what award ceremony, she said, "Don't allow someone to say that they made your career." And that was a playback to the MTV Awards when she won Video of the Year over Beyonce's Single Ladies, and Kanye ran the stage. And
she did that at the Grammys.
Right. So then eventually we found out that there was a whole conversation where Kanye told Taylor exactly what he was going to say, and she agreed with it and said it was cool. So, that was a thing. And they actually told her that they were recording the conversation, so it wasn't even an invasion of privacy. And they had a whole conversation. If you remember, they attended an awards together, and it was just a big thing. And people felt that Taylor was kind of just pandering because people told her that she shouldn't be okay with this.
Yeah, Kim actually put out the video on Twitter.
Yeah, she put the video out on Twitter, right? And then from that, we got the famous video, which depicted an art installation of many naked celebrities: Kanye West, his wife Kim Kardashian, Chris Brown, Rihanna, Donald Trump, George W. Bush, Taylor Swift, a lot of Bill Cosby, a lot of naked celebrities depicted. And it was, I forgot the name of the original artist, but Kanye was just showing that we have no privacy. You can see us in our bedrooms in our most intimate moments at all times. You have access. Yeah. But a lot of people,
this is the bed that we agreed to lay.
This is the bed that we lay in, and we're all in it. But a lot of people thought it was distasteful and very, very fucked up of him to do. And so, a lot of people said cease and desist and everything like that. And the whole 3-minute video is just showing the images of those celebrities in bed naked together.
I also took it as all celebrities kind of literally and figuratively being in bed with each other.
Yeah.
As far as like you just said about the arrangement between Taylor Swift and Kanye. They were basically in bed with each other, making this deal to kind of let this thing play out.
Yes, Jamesy. Okay, I see with the breakdownology.
But as with the record, I feel like it was kind of on that same level as Ultralight Beam, where you had so many names attached to this. Like, for instance, even with that amazing intro from Rihanna, I don't know if I have the right record, but
and Nina Simone, right?
Yeah, with Rihanna just singing at the beginning, and then you just jump into the beat, and lyrically and just the sound of it kind of, to me, had like quote unquote old Kanye energy, like just the audaciousness of everything he was saying on the song, but just hit for me.
And Swiss Beats ad-libs on this song is fucking amazing. Like, once it kicks into the what is that, the Lady Saw sample that he puts in there? Bum bum.
No, that's Sister Nancy. That's Sister Nancy, you savage.
Yeah, that's Sister Nancy, bro. But the Nina Simone.
Who did you say? You said Lady Saw?
Yeah, my fault.
But the Nina Simone.
I'm going to tell the Jamaican community.
But nonetheless, like, yo, that right there, that sample usage, the way that they flipped it, Swiss Beats on there, like, again, it feels fucking great. Like, you could be in the club with this joint with your people, like, yo, it's way too lit, you can't fuck with us. Like, this shit is great. I love it. You can't go wrong with this one. When Outside opens up, James, this on my request list. I need this. This song took me back to what? I think like the last couple of days of Apartment 78. Like, this was it.
Yeah, I had so much fun playing this record at like a couple different spots. Like,
was 78 out around at this time or no?
I can't recall, but definitely in the clubs. Like, whenever you would drop anything from this album, it just went off. Like, there was no turning back.
Yeah, this was a perfect one, man.
All right,
and what is this, like the fourth or fifth song, right?
Yeah, this is the fourth song. And let's not forget, Havoc has a production credit on this album, and Havoc said that, like, pretty much, like, Kanye gave him anything that he wanted. Like, Kanye was like, yo, I need you to come to LA to work with me. And Havoc said that he gave Kanye
great
50 tracks.
Empty everything out of the hard drive.
Give me whatever you got, give me that shit. And he said that, like, they were like, well, what did he do all the other tracks? Havoc was like, I don't know. I got paid. He said that he wants everything that I got, so I might hear it 10 years from now. I don't know. But I just think that is dope. Like, we always think about how far removed Kanye is, but Kanye is a hip hop head, and he's
absolutely,
and he's very appreciative and pays homage to other producers. He never disrespects, like, well, I'm not gonna say never, but he really seldomly disrespects the people that he feels like are the forefathers or the gatekeepers of hip hop. He always kind of like puts them up and tries to give them opportunities, and then when he works with them, like, tells them how much he loves them and fucks with them, like, just like when he worked with Raekwon and RZA on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So I thought that was really dope that he had them on this track as well. Havoc on this track, right? So moving along, we are going to get into Feedback. And that is produced by Kanye West, Charlie Heat, and Goldstein. Charlie Heat got a lot of work on this album as well, if you haven't noticed. And I think he was going for a particular sound. I also feel that, like, I think he had an intention to use a lot of, like, Chicago house music on this album. And we'll get into that once we get to Fade. And I think that's what the element that he used Charlie Heat for.
Because I don't know if you're done, but at the time when I guess, like, when Kanye picked up Charlie Heat, the reason why he picked up Charlie was because at the time Charlie Heat was the second in-house producer specifically meant to work with Lil Uzi Vert, and Lil Uzi Vert had, I think, I forgot what song it was. It was one of his early.
I remember
songs
with
that
on the
he had
mixtape with him and
everybody-
DJ Drama. That fake shit was fucking amazing.
Yeah. So it's like there's also a beat that somewhat emulates this on an early Lil Uzi Vert mixtape. So I gotta find it, but I'll if anything I'll revert to it back later or whatever. But yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, Kanye is rapping on this track. I know a lot of people might not like it, but I enjoyed the fuck out of this shit. Like I was
I just prefer the other original beat. The original beat is like really, really good to me, but I definitely enjoyed the song. Charlie Heat.
I love the production, the distortion on this record.
Charlie Heat is amazing.
Like,
Charlie Heat, like what that producer did for Little Uzi on that mixtape, his first mixtape, I believe it was, fucking amazing. And that's what really introduced me to Lil Uzi.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Charlie Heat, man. Like I know Charlie Heat is still out here. He's still putting out work or whatever, but I don't know, man. It's like after he worked with Kanye, him and Uzi kind of like stopped making music together. Charlie Heat was beefing with another producer that was starting to make beats for Uzi Vert at the time. So I guess like there was like, conflict in like the groups or whatever. But man, like Charlie Heat, I was ready for that guy to like, and he's a young guy too. He's like in his mid-20s, like maybe like late 20s, but he's super young kid, super talented. Like I would love to hear like more work from that guy.
I don't like this song.
You don't like this song?
No, it's very annoying.
Wow. I mean, I can understand why you don't like it because.
Then why are you saying I'm wilding if you understand me not liking the song? Clearly, it's unlikable.
Okay, tell us
I like this song.
Hold on, Eli.
I love the production. All that.
Hold on, Eli. I would like to hear why Rob doesn't like feedback. I just want to hear it. It's
distorted. It feels unfinished. It's annoying. I don't like the way it sounds in headphones. To Jude's point, I did like the original more. That's the first one that I heard. When I heard it like this, I was like, and that was the thing that made this album so complicated because everything on this album kept changing so fucking much, you couldn't live with anything. Even if you kind of liked it or you began to like it, when you went to go hear it again, it was completely different. Sonically, like it wasn't major, but you can hear the sounds inserted into the song again. Knowing like, wait, did I hear this? This doesn't sound like I heard it the first time. What the hell is wrong with it? Bro, that's why.
Yeah, this song was all right. To me, it kind of felt like an extra off of Yeezus, but I wasn't mad at it, but I wasn't exactly too thrilled with it either.
I enjoyed it. I kind of like it when like Kanye does like distorted things because like he was off the hinges at this time. Like I'm one of those people that I'm okay with hearing music like in the way that your life is, and I could tell that at this point in time in Kanye's life, and you kind of can tell like wherever he's at in his life, like it kind of shows in everything from like his fashion to everything that he does. Like his clothes, like he's very about like being comfortability. That's why all his clothes are like homeless people clothes, because that's kind of like how he just wants to be. He wants to be comfortable wherever he goes, whether it's a $5,000 sweatshirt, but it looks like something that a homeless person wears on a 6 train. With the sound of this song, like it kind of like sounded like where he was at in his life. Like everything was just off the fucking rails and on the hinges. So like I really, really enjoy this song. It's one of the songs that I work out to. It's on my playlist.
Like and it's funny that you mentioned that because like Kanye has a history of having like these distortions in his music, and the songs that have like the weirdest off tempo, like you don't really know, it just sounds like noise, is a history in Kanye's production. Like you get that in Love Lockdown, and on Love Lockdown you get distortion on that record, and on that record he's spilling his heart out. So on some of these like distortion records, that's when he really gets in his bag. Another prime example that has distortion in the song is So Appalled. So Appalled, he's getting his shit off in So Appalled. Like there's and I'm pretty sure if we could go through his discography and we could find like like music with Game, like, you know, like these are songs that have like distortion elements in it, and that's when he likes to go in on the weird shit, you know, and he does it really well. And I feel like this just adds on to what and so I guess like was into, you know.
All right, so now we're going.
But yeah, that was great.
We're gonna move into Lowlights, and Lowlights is one of the songs that I kind of didn't need on the album. It was produced by DJ DS and Mike Dean, along with Kanye West, and the lyrics were written by Kanye West, Mike Dean, Jerome Potter, Samuel Gissmer, and Sandy Rivera. And I don't know. I like this. I'm not a fan of this song. I don't need it.
I definitely understand. It wasn't needed. I still enjoy it. I still enjoy the production on it, and just, you know, the vocal on it. It feels like a break on a trip, and I can, like, you know, if you you know, if you know the I-95, you know you have Delaware House, or I believe the Baltimore.
The Maryland House.
Maryland House, I'm not sure. And
House.
it's like that. Yeah, it's that break. You know, you get your Cinnabon, and yeah, that's why I like this. But I feel like you're correct. This is just an opinion. I definitely feel like this wasn't needed on the album.
Nah, I felt like this fit perfect with everything that's going on with the album, because, you know, we start off with Ultralight Beam, gospel influence. We get Father Stretch My Hand, and we get part 2. Those are what's it called? Those are gospel moments. So it's kind of like this is just following along with the theme of that album, and with the with what's it called? With the with those, I guess, those synths on the drums or whatever, like, it just feels great with that little prayer or those words of affirmation that she's just like telling us something positive, and just like, you know, just giving us a break after we took like feedback, which was like a crazy distorted record, where this kind of just like ties in for the moment. Like, all right, we just had a wild moment. Let's collect ourselves. Let's remind ourselves like, yo, we're on a positive path. Like, we gotta understand, like, not to give up and just to keep on going, which is kind of like the theme, one of the themes that I shared within this album. But yeah, that was great.
That was good. The next song is Highlights, and it features Young Thug and The Dream. And Highlights is cool. I enjoy Highlights. I just I don't know. I just, like I said,
Tell my baby I'm back in town.
yeah, hearing The Dream, and then hearing Charlie Wilson and the background vocals was really dope. It's a happy song. Like, I'm not mad at it. It's one of those songs that they play at a cookout or something like that. I just like Lowlights and Highlights.
Elder Barge is on this song too.
You said who?
Elder Barge is on this song too.
Elder Barge, yeah. I think.
Oh, that's crazy! I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they got Elder Barge on the song as well.
I truly
they performed that. Elder Barge performed it at SNL with them.
Yeah,
and that was a big moment.
Yeah, because that was his first public appearances in years.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the song.
To me, I agree with Turn. This is like some cookout music. It's cool. It's not such a serious record. My only issue is just that Kanye went on Kanye went on Twitter and he was just like, yo, I feel like Young Thug is one of the rated best artist for this gen or some shit, when he went on Twitter and he said that shit. So I was hyped. So that was like in between the time when Young Thug had just dropped Slime 3, and this was like, I guess, like next runner up, because I guess he was helping him out with the album or some shit. But I was hyped because, like, I've been advocating for Young Thug for years now, And so to get like an artist like Kanye to like give that cosign, I was excited. So when this album dropped and I saw that we were getting a Young Thug feature on a Kanye album, I was excited because his range is like the roof. That guy could give you low, he could give you high, he could give you in between, whatever you're looking for, he's got it. So I was interested to see. So just to hear him go in to sing the first couple of bars and that's literally it, I was extremely disappointed in that shit.
And if
I wanted Young Thug to have like a shining moment, like for real.
And if we honestly, know Kanye, we know that there probably is an entire Young Thug verse. We just know that Kanye critiques everything and is like, nah, I just need you to do this and that's fine. And like I said again, I blame Rick Rubin for stuff like that. I feel like Rick Rubin told him less is more, and it's like, what can you really tell Rick Rubin? He's worked with
he's an OG,
he's worked with everyone, so it's kind of like, and he's kind of formed the sound of hip hop on the radio. So I kind of feel like, what do you say to Yoda when Yoda tells you something, even though it doesn't make sense?
Even though it's just a small amount of Young Thug in this song, Young Thug is the only thing that I can like remember as clear as day on the song, which like speaks to his talent, I guess. But yeah, like this is one of my favorite songs off the album, honestly. Like it's a little more upbeat, and just the inclusion of Young Thug on this for me just makes it.
Yeah.
Come on, baby, I'm back in town.
I want to know if you were freaking out.
I like this song a lot until Kanye West raps.
Oh,
I would have loved.
Oh, brother, Rob, you're making me turn into Taurian right now.
Bro,
what?
Bro, I bet me and Ray J would be friends if we didn't fuck the same bitch.
Yes, they would.
No, bro, I don't want to hear this.
You wildin', Rob. You wildin'. Don't bad bitches up in Equinox. I need to know right now if you a freaking not. Come on, bro. Come on. You wildin', Rob. Nah, bro. I don't respect that. I don't respect that.
Bro, it was such like you don't understand how disappointed I was. Like lyrically.
Look at you smiling because you know I'm right.
No, because the only thing, like, I was upset that this album never got turned into an instrumental. Because if this was an instrumental album, it would have been nuts. Because the amount of production and process that was into this album. Like, I love when the snaps come into this beat. It's incredible. It's incredible. Like, it's a whole shift change in the song. And I liked it until I heard Kanye rap. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you shitting me? And then I was like, yo, you had writers on this album? You couldn't have had writers. This is not the same rapper who told me that he rocks pastel with Louis on. Like, this is not the same rapper. It can't be.
And guess what? He evolved into something that gives you feeling. Everything lyrical isn't feeling. Everything lyrical isn't feeling. This is feeling. This is a feeling type of song. This is a song where you don't have to listen to the lyrics. All you have to do is just listen to it and you feel good. You feel like you want to get up and get a two-step. That's the feeling it provides. You cannot provide that same feeling with lyricism.
Okay,
in some cases. And in this case, you just didn't. You had to listen to this song for what it is and not the lyrical content. It's okay to feel good to a song that doesn't have like or has. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to like the song for what it is. Okay?
And honestly,
that's where we stand.
And if we're being honest, like if you're 7 tracks in by now, I feel like it should already occur to anybody that lyricism was definitely not a focal point of this album at all, and it was very deliberate. I personally feel like Kanye wanted this album to be played in the clubs, and that speaks to the kind of duality that he had in making this record, this whole album, because it's a gospel-tinged album. It's a gospel-tinged, series of records. And the way he's structuring each record is so club ready. So he basically wants gospel records to be played at fucking up and down, and that I don't know, like.
And that's exactly what happened.
And that's exactly what happened, and he executed that to the T, in my opinion. Like if you're here for lyricism, just forget about it, because that is not his MO on this album at all.
And and the shit that kills me about that type of opinion is just that's the thing about Kanye. Kanye is gonna give you these fun records. Kanye is gonna give you these troll asshole dickhead records, and then he's gonna give you those lyrical songs. Because we just talked about it on Feedback. Like he was barring up on Feedback. Like,
I mean, he bars up at the tail end of the
balance.
song. On the tail end of the song, he starts really rapping. But the beginning, I was like, yo, my nigga.
He's giving you a little bit of everything, bro.
So
that's what makes Kanye Kanye.
So let me say
no.
Okay, Rob, you said your piece. So another thing, and I think a lot of people that are Kanye fans kind of forget this. He's a producer first, before anything. Yes, he went extremely hard to let us know that he could rap, and he got his acceptance. And I think everyone knows that he did that on Graduation. Once he reached Graduation, he realized, like, all right, I did it. Like, I get respect from all of the rap MCs. Like, I proved my point. I got my shit off. This is what I'm doing. I'm kind of bored with this now. So then he made the transition into making production and making records in other veins. And if Kanye stayed in the bag of trying to be the best rapper alive, Kanye West wouldn't we wouldn't care that much about what he puts out. So he has to change things up. Kanye knows that he can invoke feeling in people. And he knows that lyrically, he kind of like reached that plateau where people started arguing if Kanye West was in their top 5 or not. So Kanye, once he reached that, he was like, all right, I did that. I'm bored now. Now I'm going to go into other parts. So now sonically, he's trying to make songs that just invoke emotions out of you. That's hence why he started like going into like gospel and using different sounds, different noises. With that being said, I'm going to go into the next song. Rob, we know you hate it. The next song is Freestyle 4. Now, Freestyle 4 features vocals from Designer, and there's an awesome remix that I really, really enjoy that comes from Tyler, the Creator, and it's him and A$AP Rocky. And I listen to that more than I listen to this version of Freestyle, but I like how the beat starts off. And it's fucking dope to me, like what they did on this track. And Hudson Mohawk was a producer on this, as well as Mike Dean. Yeah, Mike Dean also. So for me, it was just one of those rap songs where Kanye like is just really getting his shit off, and he's just talking about a little bit of everything on this. Like, and that's why, like, you know, he's just basically just saying like, what the fuck right now? What the fuck right now? And that, I just enjoyed that part of it was just fun. It was a fun freestyle, and he did that. And like I said, he gives us one song where he's talking, you know, it's kind of more so about getting a feeling. Then he comes and he raps, and he just talks about what he's going through right now. And on freestyle,
feeling
definitely does that. It's a feeling.
Feeling.
Yeah. Shitting me? Are you
this
shitting
song
me?
Is
Are you
so... Listen,
are you
Robert,
shitting me?
I'm telling you right now, this song can easily be placed in a thriller. It has placement in either a thriller or a psychological horror movie. I'm telling you right now, that's the feeling it provides.
That intro is so eerie.
Exactly.
Bro,
are you
it caught me. Yo, as soon as the beat dropped, I was already hooked because I'm like, yo, what the fuck are we about to get right now? And that's exactly what he did. What the fuck right now? You know what I mean? Like, I want it right now.
I just wish he had screamed.
Designer bodied his feature.
I wish he had screamed at the end of the track. I wish he had screamed at the end of the track and like mixed it in something like that. That's my only a comment about it. But other than that, this track really gives you like Eli said, an eerie feeling. This has you can easily place this in a Stanley Kubrick horror movie. You can easily place this. It sounds like it without the vocals and just that beat. Yo, it's feeling. It's a feeling. Kanye is providing feeling all over this album.
Matter of fact, that's perfect example. Like, yo, just imagine like Stanley Kubrick giving us a gruesome horror scene filled with like sex and coke at a Vogue party. Like, This shit is fucking, it's perfect. Because that's exactly what he says in the record. Like, yo, we could fuck right now at this Vogue party. Like, just imagine all of that. That would have been perfect. That would have been a perfect, like, minute and a half
The
scene
cap
right there.
on this app is ridiculous.
Rob, you saying that you don't agree, but you're not really giving us much because, like I said,
you're not giving us real reasons.
It sounds like you listen to Kanye and up until graduation you were in love with him, and then like you weren't happy with what he was delivering. But it's just that like most artists, if they keep at it at doing one certain thing, only a few of them get really far. And Kanye is not Jay-Z and Nas. So
and
the crazy thing is we say that, but like you're also forgetting that we're coming off the high of Watch the Throne. We're coming off the high of that, like of lyrical miracle Kanye West into
he already gave you that. So that's my point.
With Yeezus, I was fine with Yeezus because of the sound that it gave, and I understood that mood point, and I understood the tone down of rap. But this is nuts, and we would not accept this from any.
Watch the Throne.
No, Yeezus was.
Yeah, Yeezus. Yeah.
And he had already talked about turning down the album and how more, it was more production based. And I'm not taking that away. I'm just saying, like, it's one thing to tone down and be tone deaf. And this is bad. And we wouldn't accept this from anyone else, but we throw Kanye a bone because he's a producer. But we don't reward fish for knowing how to fucking swim. That's what fish do. So why are you giving him credit for something that we already know he can do already? No shit, Sherlock. Yes,
no,
he was really.
He had stripped down his bars in Yeezus. Like he wasn't giving us anything like super lyrical miracle. There was only a couple of records that had that, and one being was either Black Skinhead or some other joint or whatever. I can't remember right now. Like he's stripped down his lyrics for a while now. And if anything, that's a smart thing for anybody to do.
Yeah, but like I said, Rob was stuck on the fact of like a certain part of Kanye, and Kanye's reinvented himself on every single album.
On every album.
And
you gotta
yeah, go ahead, James.
You gotta remember, Kanye is not about the people. He's about his ego. And back to what Torian said earlier about how Kanye wanted to prove to his peers that he could rap. He did that, and his ego was satisfied by that. So he felt that it was okay to just, you know what? I'm gonna stop really rapping because everybody knows I can do that already. Let me move on to this next thing that if I succeed at, it'll massage my ego a little bit more. You got to remember that's what he's all about. He's all about the self and self-satisfaction with this music shit.
Yeah. So how can he better himself? Like how can he challenge himself, bro? Like if more music was on the Travis Scott and Kanye level, bro, like music would be 10 times. If like imagine coming like trap artists like doing like working with violins and all this other shit or whatever, like bro, like up and coming artists, they don't get to sound like this, or music artists in general now to this day while Kanye's outside, they still don't sound like Kanye on this level. And it's just like all Kanye's doing is just he's telling people, yo, use sounds, listen to other music, be open-minded.
And but to that point,
you want Kanye to you miss the old Kanye.
And to that point, I think Jade was saying this earlier. Kanye really lays out the blueprint that nobody really picks up on. He's giving out free advice to these artists as far as aesthetic, sounds, structure, as far as records. And these are things that a lot of artists aren't smart enough to pick up on, and very few are. And one of those few is definitely, I would say, Travis Scott, maybe even Don Toliver to an extent, even though I would say he's more influenced by Travis, but still, nonetheless.
Absolutely.
So my thing is also Kanye has studied some of the biggest artists in the world, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Elvis, knowing that they go through certain periods, Miles Davis, like where they have like different periods in time of their career. And I think Rob selfishly wants Kanye to stay in the realm of a rapper, and that's not where he's at. And some rappers, like they transition and they change throughout time doing that. And there's a lot of people that hear Yeezus, like Danny is one of those people who hates Yeezus because he's like, it's not rapping, but we all know that like Danny listens to like battle rap. So like all he wants to hear is bars. So, and then we have a lot of people who hate 808s and Heartbreak because they're like, yo, what is he doing? And Kanye is basically doing what he's been doing since the beginning of his career, whatever he wants. And to me, like, it's not cap because I listen to this album and I enjoy it very, very much. And the reason why, like, the thing that solidified this album to me, and Felix wrote an album review for it. Felix is one of the people who's one of Kanye's hardest critics, and he said this is one of his favorite Kanye albums. And I think it's because it's a combination of him rapping, production, his features, and things that he just did. And then also, which people tend to forget, is just that this album has early playlist appeal to it. It has an early playlist of feel to it. So it's basically a collection of
plays like a mixtape.
Yeah, it's all of the sounds that Kanye really enjoys at that time. And you know, you have some people that just feel like, nah, like this isn't it. It's not doing it for me. And right after this song, we get that answer. And the next thing is the I Love Kanye freestyle that he does. And it's like, if that's the Kanye that you love, just go listen to those projects.
And I've never heard an interlude being played that much during a party before, like, his song drops. And it's like, everybody knows the words. It's so cool. Like, I've never heard an interlude in a party like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if anybody has, let me know what other interludes.
Yeah.
I think everybody, it was that moment listening to it in the movie theater, and he says it, and everybody's kind of like, this was an unfair advantage because, like, this song, like, I hate and love this song for two reasons.
No, you love the song.
This is an interlude.
It is, and it's a precursor to the next song and how big that song is. That it's undeniable that, like, the way this song plays, and I love Kanye as much as I love Kanye, and it explodes. So I think I like this song only because of the song right after.
I know you like it. You don't hate it because you like it. I know.
Nah, I love this interlude.
To segue off of Julius's point about it being played at parties, one of my favorite things to do would be I would play, like, back in the day of this album, I would play like part 2, for instance, or another track, and I would play and you know, like I said, tilapia. Some people really love and appreciate the presence of the tilapia fish. Some people view it as like a menace, as a pest that they're trying to get rid of. So at a party, I would play, you know, like one of the newer tracks, and then I'll play the I Love Kanye, and everybody would sing along. And right after, I'll drop Can't Tell Me Nothing and just go into a whole old Kanye set and just
turn the whole
party upside down. But yeah, like, I think Kanye is very well aware of critics such as Rob, for instance, and this was kind of his message to them. Like, it's not about y'all, it's about me at the end of the day.
That's right. Talk about it.
Man, I mean, it's just, I have such mixed emotions about this album. Like,
that's fine.
Bro.
Let's
I hate it and I love it, but I hate it more. Continue, go ahead, Tori.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Yeah.
Waves features Kid Cudi. Like, you know, an amazing song. And it features Chris Brown as well, which is dope. And who is it produced by? Charlie Heat, Hudson Mohawk, and Metro Boomin. And this is a wave. I mean, this is a wavy song, man.
It's a big record.
Yeah, this was huge.
Wait,
First of all,
This song is
It's like
this song is
stadium
amazing.
music. Like it's just triumphant.
yeah. First of all,
Bruh.
can I just say about Hudson Mohawk? Like if you're really into electronic music, you know him for that work that he does by himself, but then you also know him from the work that he does with Lunas as Tonight, as they're called together. And Lunas has also worked with Kanye in the past as well. But back to my point, this was the more electronic side of Hudson Mohawk's production, which I thought was really cool to see. And not even in the Yeezus way, but in a more futuristic, like just like new wave, like future beats selection type of way. And it was really dope to hear that on such a mainstream level. And also just Chris Brown on this is just
Sounds amazing.
a revelation. Like, and considering what he had gone through prior to this, it's kind of very interesting to hear him on a very gospel style record, and it's almost kind of like this faux redemption-esque moment. Like it was very strange, but it was what it was. It's dope.
That was perfect.
Also, this song is one of the songs that led to the beef with Kanye and Wiz Khalifa on Twitter when he said that he was going to, I think he just finished this track and was like, I'm going to name the album Waves. And everybody was against it. And Wiz Khalifa was saying, nah, you can't name the album Waves. Like, what you doing? Like, the wave belonged to Max B.
Smoking on KK.
And before we got to that part, Kanye didn't know who Max B was. And a lot of people found it hard to believe, but Max B's career was very underground, and it was kind of like if you know kind of thing. And it didn't make that much of a stamp. So to where like Kanye would actually know that a lot of artists were influenced by him. So I shot Kanye some bail, but that whole exchange on Twitter was hilarious. Wiz Khalifa like left it alone and said, "Yo, I'm smoking that KK," which is Khalifa Kush. And Kanye thought that he was talking about, because Kanye's world is so small in his head. He was like, the only KK I know is my wife.
Oh my God, I remember that. Was that when he called out? Was that when he called out Wiz for his fancy pants?
Yeah,
He told Wiz, he was like, "Yo, the only thing I talk about you is that you have cool pants. I told my assistant to make a vision board about you because you wear really cool pants. If I was built like you, I would wear more pants like you do."
Yeah, like this is when this was the first time Kanye was tweeting since My Twisted Dark Fantasy.
Before that, well, because remember he went dark for my Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So this was before the Rosewood era of Kanye, where he got rid of all social media because the Rosewood era was ushered in by what happened with him and Taylor Swift at the MTV Awards.
How many points did he make against Wiz Khalifa? I think it was maybe 10.
How many overalls did he make? I want to say that he made 9 overalls. He had a first, it was 9 overalls,
Okay.
Oh no, how many?
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. He got to 17 overalls.
17.
Yeah,
I knew it was a big number. I knew.
And one of the overalls was, "Yo, you wouldn't have your kid if it wasn't for me. Like I fathered your kid," and that was.
I'm not gonna hold you at that time. At that time, and I just want to point out at that time, if you are Wiz Khalifa's son, and you see Kanye West, and you see Wiz Khalifa, you're like, damn, my dad could have been with Kanye West. You fast forward now, and you're like, damn, mom, my dad could have been Kanye West. So maybe Amber had foresight not to have a kid with Kanye West. That's all I'm saying. I'm leaving it at that. Maybe she did make a better decision. That choice is yours. I'm just saying, you think about it now. To be Kanye then, you got to be Kanye now. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Yeah. We're going to move into the next song now, which is Fuck My Life featuring The Weeknd. It's produced by Metro Boomin and Kanye and many others. This song came out of a bunch of sessions that he did with The Weeknd, and I really, really wish that Tell Your Friends About It was on his album. Like, I wish they flip-flopped it, but obviously the lyrics were more personal to Kanye on Fuck My Life. But I really wish that they would make more music together, and I hope that they make more music together in the future. I didn't realize like this was like Kanye like flexing.
Absolutely.
I believe he laid down the stems for it, but then like him and The Weeknd just working together like just makes sense. Like it works, and I'm kind of mad that we don't have more music from these two, and maybe we will in the future. But they work really well together, and especially in the headspace that Kanye was in when this came together, like it was good.
Yeah, I do like this song.
You said you don't like it, Rob?
I do like this song.
Oh, okay.
I like The Weeknd a lot on it. It was a very mood point song, but I do like him what The Weeknd was saying, like just fucking your life up, and although you fuck your life up, like your friends understand it, people get it. It's one of those things that like you're always your hardest critic, and I think even with Kanye sometimes, as much as I hate this album, I kind of understand of him constantly wanting to critique it. I think there's a gift and a curse of you completing an album and just being done with it in its totality.
So you
but I still hate this album.
And you said in your point earlier that you hate the album because of the fixing of them, but you understand it now.
I understand it, but that don't mean I love it. Like it's still annoying as fuck because it takes away from you can't like. It's something about the album being finite and being a constant time period. You hear differently every fucking time. You can't really love it for anyone because you don't remember how you listened to it the last time. And that was my only. That was my main one of the big problems I had with it was like, yo, you constantly keep fixing it for your own pleasure. And if you're gonna put it out to the world, then let the world leave it as is. It is,
bro. He's a perfectionist.
Bro, nah, it's bullshit.
You're exaggerating though, because you're making it sound like we were hearing like completely different beats. He basically was just going over like remixing songs and like changing like a drum or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're making it sound like we will go on to like Apple Music or Tidal and
it'll be a brand new version
and hear a different song. And
but you would hear it through Tidal and sound complete. You would hear it through Tidal and sound completely different.
Yeah, because on Tidal that gives the best option to update it. But you're saying that like every song will be completely different. That's an exaggeration. It will be small tweaks that like
that was never the
Twitter
case.
And people will be able to like share that and talk about it. But like, yo, he just changed this, and you're like rotting on that. But I bet you if Kanye never told us that, you probably wouldn't even notice it. Kanye said it himself that he's changing his album, updating it as it goes. And you're sitting here saying that he does that, but it's like I don't think you would even notice it if he didn't say that he was.
So Taurian, you my ears, bro? You my ears? Nah, you're not my ears, bro.
I am.
So I hear it differently. You're not my ears, bro.
I'm your ears. I'm your eyes. I'm your brain. I'm everything.
Hey, stop, bro. You're not my ears, bro. Not my ears, bro. I hear it differently, and I don't like it, bro. That's it.
I gotta say, I agree on the point of being an album real time. I feel the same way about that as I feel about having an edit feature on Twitter. There has to be some sort of accountability. If you put it out there, it's out. If you press that record, it's pressed. That's it. You can't edge it. Do a remaster later on down the line. But once you put it out, it's out. Like that's just me being an old head or being old school, whatever you want to call it. But nah, like I'm not with the going back and tinkering it.
Because you're changing it upon emotion. You're not changing it throughout perfection. What? If Picasso changed the Mona Lisa, or Michelangelo changed the Sistine Chapel,
that's visual art. That's visual art. That's visual art. I have a question. Are we conditioned to only accepting permanent art? Are we? Because
a lot of people are.
Julius Cochran. Come on.
I'm just saying, because we went for years and years and years of just settling for a piece of a project for what it is and not allowing the artist to feel a way about their art and changing it. I personally believe that if an artist doesn't like something, they should go back and change it. They have the right to go back and change it because of how they feel for it. I know this because I've made things that I wish I could say, let me turn down the color down a bit. Let me take that part out on the podcast. I think it's fair to the artist for them to change it. And I don't think it's fair for us to say, oh, you're supposed to leave it, you're supposed to leave it. No, where are the rules that say that? Show me, tell me, present it to me. I would like to see it. I would like to know.
Me, I don't. I'm on Taurian. I'm on both of you guys' side. Like, yo, like I'm agreeing with Taurian. I'm agreeing with Julius. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Like,
it's arrogant, bro.
It's
not. It's not arrogant, bro.
You can change it. You can change it.
First and foremost,
versions.
Ryan Leslie is the first artist to do.
It's the same lyrics.
Album.
It's
that's
the same
that's
beat.
one.
If anything, he's just tweaking the frequencies. That's it, bro.
It's not, bro. It's not. And that's the space. That's the space that we give constantly. In that room, that error for margin, and I'm fine with it if that's what you want to live with. But I think when you constantly critique an album because this doesn't sound right, that doesn't sound right, well, I don't know about Eli, but Julius, have you ever edited a podcast and you go into a rabbit hole of editing to the point where you can't even think straight now because all you're doing is hearing imaginary sounds? And you're taking shit out,
and it's and you're putting different things in it. You're putting different things in it. I think personally, I unmastered versions of all the old albums that we like. We would like to tweak and like either raise a vocal up there or drop the drum there.
That's what a remastered album is.
Yeah,
and that's what Biggie has. Biggie has like 11 fucking remastered albums. First two albums.
Of course, granted, but
shut up, Eli.
No, don't shut up, Eli. No,
he's not even editing it,
Eli.
All right, so my stance is this: like, I feel like an artist. Of course, an artist should be allowed to change things, but when you're going at it to the point where you're treating it kind of like a web page, and you're constantly going in there and switching up the HTML, that kind of, for me at least, that kind of takes something out of it. But if you want to remaster it a year from the release or something like that, cool. But if you're just constantly going in and like fucking with the back end as it's out within first couple of weeks of release, then to me it's just like, all right, bro, just take it off the platforms, do what you want to do with it, and then put it back out.
Hey Jamesy, you know what's funny that'll happen after Life of Pablo? The nigga started doing that. Albums up, take the album down, put it back up. Oh, I don't like it, change it. And that's when I knew it was a downward spiral.
No.
A downward spiral of Kanye West when it came to music.
No, he's making it better. And I'm telling you right now.
Yo, what is wrong with delivering the best quality music? What is the problem with that, bro?
He's making it better.
He's giving you music that's part of your life. What is wrong? You over here nitpicking like, oh, you know, it's the same song and it's just a different frequency and it feels different on my app and I got an email title because I don't get it and it's very confusing and disheartening and I'm discouraged.
Bro,
no, Rob, shut the fuck up. It's music.
Bro, music is like cooking, bro. If you add too much salt, eventually you're going to lose your taste.
And guess what?
Eventually.
And then
you get hypertension.
You can add something to take the salt and seasoning out, the taste out. You can add something.
You already added water and it's not lyrical.
All right, guys, we got it.
Loud noises.
Yeah, so listen. We know it's a living album. like I said, I just think that Kanye West is the Tony Stark of hip hop, and he's a futurist, and these are things that will be the normal in the future. And Rob is probably going to hate it, and that's fine. The next song on the album,
I already
Friends. I'm done, Rob. Thank you.
Oh God.
So the next song is Real Friends, and it features Ty Dolla $ign, and it's a flip on Houdini's song Friends, and it has production from Havoc, Mike Dean, and Boy Wonder and Frank Dukes. And I really enjoyed this one. Like this is one of the songs where I'm like, okay, this is maybe late registration Kanye. Like on each track, we can reference back to an album and be like, this is this version of Kanye. Like Real Friends is absolutely late registration Kanye.
Yeah, man, this is such a Havoc record. Shout out to Queens, man.
Yeah,
like through and through.
This is perfect, bro. Like when he talks about his stealing his laptop. Man, what else, man? It's just a perfect song, bro. I fuck with this. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this shit.
I enjoy it. Real Friends. How many was good? That Eli. His
Yo, you feel like he's definitely talking to Hove on this.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't know.
So. Nah, he's not talking about Hove.
No, that's too early. We don't get to disdain a relationship until August of 2016.
Yo, Eli,
he's not talking to Hove on this
his cousin stealing his laptop is really like the puncture here, and I will never ever forget his cousin stealing his laptop, like for $30,000. Okay.
Yeah, and I love that the lyrics of this record are just so straightforward in that he's just telling you what happened.
Exactly.
Like there's no fancy metaphors, there's no wordplay. It's just you and him, and he's telling you the story of like all the shit that's happening in his life.
Yeah,
it's such a confessional style of record, and I really
Ty Dolla $ign does what Ty Dolla $ign does. He adds those fucking beautiful vocals. This was the album that kind of was. That's when we were starting getting on his case. Like, yo, bro, we need an album. We need an album. Like
Kanye, it says featuring Ty Dolla $ign. I'm listening.
Ty Dolla $ign needs to work with a producer that executive produces albums, and I think that's my one knock on Ty Dolla $ign. The producers he works with are like music producers and they make singles, and then they count on Ty Dolla $ign and his team to work on it. I bet you if he worked, I know it's unlikely, but like if he worked with somebody like a Dark Child or worked with like Babyface, and he's worked with Babyface before, but if he let Babyface do his entire album, I think Babyface has an understanding of the times now, and he would let Ty Dolla $ign do his thing. But I think Babyface will be able to keep him on track to make the entire album.
I think that's what's missing from today's music.
Yeah, executive
cohesion. Yeah.
A lot of people don't think about that. They say, "Oh, well, he's a music producer," but that doesn't mean that you know how to put a whole album together and tell a story.
Yeah.
Maybe you know how to put a couple hit singles together, and that's great too. But right now, we're not getting executive produced albums, and that's what I want.
Should be like
more executive producers.
Yeah, should be like, oh, let me get 2 tracks from Metro, 3 tracks from Hit Boy, maybe an interlude from Madlib, and then call it a day. And it's like, that's not how it works, bro.
Because I think what it is, and some artists have said this in recent times, that they create their first album as a hit record and it becomes a big hit and a natural success. And they have the team that they work with, and they're a lot more hesitant to let labels in to critique the album because they feel like they only have one shot at their career. And if they fuck it up, they can't come back from that. I was listening to 21 Savage's manager, and he said that. He was like, yo, we bodied Savage Mode 1, and to let somebody come in and do Savage Mode 2, we were fucking nervous. But when you hear Savage Mode 2, it's a lot more refined with Morgan Freeman and everything, and just the overall sound. I think what happens is we don't live in an era anymore where artists are groomed. Artists pretty much have a full direction of their career, whether that's high, low, one-hit wonder or not. when we still have some artists that you know are not just students of music, but they know how to work with their label in such a way where they become superstars. We don't have that anymore.
I have one rebuttal to that. Why would you sign with a label that you don't trust to help you with your album? That's dumb.
Why would you sign to a label that you feel like it's not going to help you? Yeah, like you're absolutely right. Like if you sign, I can't even expound upon that because you're right. Like if you don't trust the label, you shouldn't sign there.
Right.
But
like
I'm
scared of this label to do this. Like, why the hell did you go there then? Why did you sign? What
bro?
What about you? What about was this the only label that wanted to sign you? Like that sounds dumb.
I also just want to add that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
I heard from 21 Savage's manager, bro, that the only way they brought the A&R in there is because the lady at ASCAP was cool with the record label and cool with 21 Savage, and that's how they snuck an A&R into Savage Mode 2.
I also just want to
because they wouldn't speak.
I also just want to add that like oftentimes you hear people talk about how, oh man, every record on this album is like a single, and I feel like a lot of artists that come after that, hearing that that kind of cliche, like they take it literally to heart and they try to make every track be something that could possibly chart, when really like every record on the album sounds like a single because there's cohesion, there's a good executive producer to guide the album versus tapping into different producers or of the moment or different artists of the moment for a feature, and I think it ties back to what Taurian was saying about how the need for good executive producing is so essential.
Much as I hate this album, I will say that every artist who was on this album became a student and a mastery in their craft of their own category.
So that means
every
you don't
artist
hate
from
it.
this.
So that
Fuck
means
you, Julius.
Don't hate it.
I hate it.
You don't.
I hate
you
it.
Don't.
Go ahead, Taurian. Next
you don't
song.
hate it. You don't hate it. You actually.
I'm muting my mic. I'm muting my mic.
All right. With that, the next song we're gonna go into is Wolves, and I think Wolves was like one of the most sought after songs that everybody wanted to hear. He used it at one of his Adidas fashion shows, and it features Sia and Vic Mensa, and this song was like really like a big deal because a lot of people were talking about it, and what we got was something I thought, like Eli talked about it earlier in the episode, like Kanye was kind of like just like laying it all out there, like just having a conversation with himself, talking about what he fears, his daughter might find out about him and her mother when she gets older, and him just having a realization like, yo, like it's the internet age. Nothing is off limits. You're probably gonna see your mom's sex tape. You're probably gonna see that my dick is on the internet. Like there's things that can like happen and be found out. And he's just talking about that, and I thought that was cool. And I also think that it's cool that on certain versions of the album, it goes into Frank Ocean's little bar, and it's called Frank's Track, and it's just Frank singing at the end of it.
Yeah.
And I really hope that Frank and Kanye work together more, but it's hard to even get Frank to like come out of his mansion nowadays. He's very He's very.
This is the second time they work with each other.
You're right. My bad. This is the second time they work together. But we got so little.
I gotta say,
but you know what?
Welcome to the. I think they the Watch the Throne song.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
No Church in a While.
Yeah, No Church in the Wild, which is a fucking amazing song too.
And Made in America. But what I'm saying is that I want like there's certain artists that I want Kanye to work with, and I feel like he works with them, but like he only uses like a bit of the process, and it's kind of like, damn, I know that Frank probably recorded a whole fucking song for him, but that's all we got, and now it's just called Frank's Track. But Wolves is just like a really dope song, and seeing him perform it live, seeing him, Sia, and Vic Mensa perform it live on SNL was weird, because like they were like crawling on the floor or some shit like that, and I think that's one of the stages that Kanye complained that they messed up. but he still did it. But
Yeah.
it's something that it's a dope song. I enjoy it. Like I enjoy that song still. Like, and I listen to it, and I really like how Sia comes on the track. Like coming on the track.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
as soon as this track opens, just the eeriness of it and the whole sonic aesthetic, I guess you might want to, I immediately think of expensive slouchy sweats with bulky dad sneakers off the rip.
Loneliness. I felt like this was one of those songs where like Kanye looked at his career in its totality and where he felt emotionally detached from everything, and that's how we got Wolves. Like, just even in the beginning of the song with the lyrics, and he's talking about lost out, beat out, dancing out there, I found you somewhere. Like, I feel like in the midst of all the drugs, the coke, the shoes, the fashion, sneakers, his mom dying, it was just emptiness.
Yeah.
I think having kids for him really filled the void of a new responsibility that he couldn't necessarily conquer in a sense. Like, I think everything Kanye has tried, he's been able to do so masterfully. At this point, like music, he catapulted. Fashion, he catapulted. Cultural icon, catapulted. But I think it's like being in a sea of people who love you, but you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what Wolves gave me. Like, Wolves is not people trying to take you, but your own thoughts. Your own thoughts, your own self-doubt, your own reflection, your own thoughts about, the decisions. Even when he's talking about Shorty saying, I bet there's some dicks that you wish you can unswallow. Like, those moments of, like, constantly thinking about your decisions and living with those decisions and how to move forward with those decisions, and only having you, your thoughts, and God to really cycle through it. I like this song a lot. This song I really do like a lot. And I don't know if it's because of the eeriness or the emptiness, but it definitely is one of my favorite songs.
Because you enjoyed listening to the album, Robert.
Fuck up, Julius.
Also, shout out to the producers who I feel like don't get enough credit. Shout out to Kashmir Cat and Sinjin Hawk. These are also two producers that were known in the electronic kind of alternative dance music scene for a very long time prior to this. And it was dope to see them get tapped by Kanye to produce such a beautiful sounding record.
And
I feel like this song aligns perfect with the original single for this album, which was Only One, and that was the first song that he made for North, and that's when he dropped the video where it's literally just them two like in the muddy woods or whatever, and it's it's just him singing to her like, you are my only one, and she's looking into the camera because like everything's brand new. He's running around with his daughter. So I feel like once we got that single, it was kind of like, holy shit, like fucking Kanye's a dad now. And then we get Wolves where it's kind of like, okay, now you kind of have some experience in being a father. And so with you being a father and you being a celebrity, this is the perfect song that kind of hones in on his entire life and experience coming into fatherhood. It's like, listen, I have a dark past, like, and your mother is no better than I am. So when you get older, I want to let you know, like, I feel bad that you can't look at me as an idol because I've made so much mistakes. But this is me talking to you and telling you, like, yo, like, I'm coming to terms with it and and I'm at a turning point. And I know that I have to be a father, but I'm just letting you know, like, I have a dark past, and your mother's is no different.
Okay. So we already
they both sin, which kind of brings the whole then Adam Eve line.
It's Mary and Joseph. It's Mary and Joseph.
Yeah, same. Yeah, there you go.
So we already talked about Frank's track because that's right at the tail end of it. Then we get the Silver Surfer in the mission, and that's thanks to French Montana. he formally introduces Max B and Kanye West. Max B gives Kanye West the permission to use Waves for a song, which is hilarious because Max B don't own shit, but it's fine. And then we get to 30 Hours, which features Andre 3000, and it is produced by Kanye West, Mike Dean, and Kareem Riggins. This is one of my favorite songs on the album and one of my favorite Kanye West songs, period. And it's another song where I feel like it's just Kanye just fucking giving
stream
of consciousness, and he's just rapping and he's just going. And I also think it's funny because like he has like a break in the raps where he talks about the Matt Barnes incident with Derek Fisher and his baby mom's his ex-wife Gloria Govan, and he's like, "Yo, sometimes you just got to drive down the freeway and drive 30 hours and whoop a nigga ass for trying to raise your kids." And it's funny because that's not like Matt Barnes cleared it up, and he was like, "Yo, I didn't drive that long." He said it was only a 2-hour drive. But it's just funny because you think about like, you know how mad you got to be to drive that many hours and then get there and the first thing you want to do is fight instead of sleep. Like, you raising my kids?
That's a lot, man. Future could not relate.
Yeah, it goes wrong.
I can't say anything else, man. This is a perfect song on Kanye's.
I just thought it was dope to get Andre 3000 on it, and he did what he wanted. Andre did what he wanted. He was like, "I'll sing for you, but you won't let me play my banjo."
That shit is great, man.
I love the once again. I love the confessional aspect of the lyrics on this record. I love confessional Kanye. I just everything he's saying is just like, all right, like I guess we're talking right now.
Yeah.
And number two, the most relatable part of the song is when he says, "I hit the gym, all chest, no legs," because I do the same thing.
Damn it, James.
You felt that?
So the next song we're going to get into is "No More Parties in LA," which came with much fanfare, and I remember this like it was yesterday. There's one thing I want to share with you guys about Eli, ladies and gentlemen. Eli is one of my favorite and least favorite music friends. So Eli has always put me on to producers that I was not privy to, but then wound up loving, right? And Madlib is one of them. So when Eli found out that Kanye was working with Madlib, Eli was really excited about it. And I was familiar with Madlib, but not that familiar with Madlib. So then I went back and listened to more. And prior to this, we got Pinata with Madlib and Freddie Gibbs. So that was kind of like me, like being like, all right, I need to learn more about Madlib. And I was pleased to find out that this beat was originally meant to be on Pinata for Freddie Gibbs. So what Freddie Gibbs did was and he won't confirm or deny, but I think that he wrote some of this for Kanye because in the interview he said that he had to show them how to rap on it because Kanye kind of like he loved the beat, but he didn't know how to approach it. So I think, in my personal opinion, that Freddie Gibbs' services were used for the track. But I could, it hasn't been confirmed or denied. It might have been Saha. But
I hope that's
bro. Now that you say that, you can hear Freddie Gibbs in it.
Yeah,
you can hear Freddie's rapping.
And then also the other big deal is that we finally got him and Kendrick working together. And if you remember, when Kendrick was opening on the Yeezus tour, if I'm not mistaken, Punch and Top Dog said that they made it their business to keep Kanye and Kendrick apart. They didn't want them together. Like they felt like Kanye would be a bad influence on Kendrick, which was mad funny to me. And we finally got them to do a song together, and I was really happy because it sounded great. And I wish that Freddie Gibbs was also featured on this song because I feel like the three of them, like it just would have sounded great. Like I wish that Gibbs was just on the song. Like I don't know how Kanye's decision making went into this, but like Kendrick, Gibbs, and Kanye, No More Parties in LA would have just been dope because it would have just been three elements. It was Freddie Gibbs, the coke dealer, Kanye West, possibly the celebrity coke user. Then you have Kendrick Lamar, who is just like the bright-eyed kid, just
the spectator.
Yeah, the spectator. So you have those three elements. And I think that would have been dope on a No More Parties in LA, personally.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. That would have been great. This is a perfect hip hop song. Just a perfect hip hop.
Yeah,
song.
it is.
Bro,
And
I got so baited.
And I'll say another thing, guys. Rob completely didn't do his job this entire episode because he hasn't given us one sample. But that's neither here nor
Not
there.
one.
Bro,
Not a one.
I have the
man.
samples.
You haven't
the samples.
interjected. All you've been able to tell us how much you don't like this album, but you have not interjected and not. I don't like to do what Regg does, where I have to like, baby you and be like, hey Rob, what's the sample? You haven't interjected.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wish I wouldn't have to interject Regg sometimes, and he would just give the title of the song and I'd give the sample. I have the samples, but you were doing such a good job directing. I didn't want to say anything.
You still didn't do it, so now you blaming Regg and he's not even here. That's crazy. I'm telling you.
You tell him all you want. If you want to eat cheese, go ahead and eat cheese. I'll call you a rat. So anyway, anyway, I like this song a lot. I was definitely baited into thinking I was gonna get some album that I didn't get, and I think it's because I thought when I heard this it was gonna be super rapidy rap. It wasn't, and I was highly upset. It was just because coming off of Yeezus, I was like, all right, we got this sound before, like, oh shit, like Kanye's in his rapping bag. And I guess for me, like when it's Kanye is kind of like Hov. When it's still in the same sense, even now, when Kanye puts out a song or an album, it resets music all the time. Everybody listens to it, takes parts from it, artists take parts from it, and really go back in the studio and be like, all right, I need to really figure out on a production side, how do I take this to a next level? But Hov is like, all right, I really need to set my rapping bars up. They still have an uncanny ability to assemble everyone's ear when they put out music. Even with Kanye's like nuisance of opinions politically, Nana came out and everybody I know was listening to it just to see what the fuck Kanye was talking about. So I think he still possesses that ability. But no more parties in LA is bananas, like really bananas. And the fact that he let Kendrick take the lead is very interesting too. Because like you can see, I guess to you guys' point where he's kind of done with rap, and a lot of the songs on this album, he's taking a back seat to let the other artists get the feature. The featured artist is the star of the song.
For me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay because he's a producer, so it doesn't bother me. I think a lot of people, because Kanye went so hard to be notarized as a rapper, like some people, I'm not saying that you had a problem with that, Rob. I'm just saying like people forget that he's a producer first, like, and it's no different than Dr. Dre. It's just that Dr. Dre only has 2 albums. Dr. Dre always takes the back seat to rappers on his albums, always. But let's move along to the next song, which is Facts. And Facts is my least liked song on the album. Even though like this song always gets played, that's cool. It has production credits from Metro Boomin, Southside, and Charlie Heat. It's, he said that it was used as a promotional single, and it was basically him just making a beef with Nike. And I guess for me, like I never took the song seriously because I know how much he loves Nike. He was just butthurt that they didn't want to give him everything that he wanted and he deserved. But
that's how I saw it too.
It was just him just basically poking his nose at an ex, and that ex didn't give a fuck because that ex had a light skinned nigga named Drake.
I did not like the song at all.
You said you didn't think about it like that, Rob?
I hated this song, but I would be lying if he wasn't telling the truth at the time.
I never said he wasn't telling the truth.
What I mean, like, I don't think it was. I don't think he was necessarily. When we heard Yeezy jumped over the Jumpman at the time, I think he had every right to say that. Like, unfortunately, like to what people disagree with, I think that there are 3 pivotal moments in the last 10 years of in the last decade of footwear, and Kanye West owns 2 of them. He owns the Yeezy 2 and he owns the Yeezy Boost 700. And the third one is the Roshi one, in my opinion. Those three shoes revolutionized footwear and comfort and overall style and design. So when I heard Yeezy versus jumps over the Jumpman, I think he had every right to say it. It was braggadocious, but yeah, Jordan had been lackadaisical. The brands had been lackadaisical. And I think he kind of proved it with Yeezy season 1 and 2 because they did extremely well. I liked him to be that braggadocious about it and say it because he wasn't lying. I hated the Yeezy Boost, the Yeezy Boost 700, but for him to grandstand in front of Adidas and Soho and give them out for free and sign boxes and like the shoe gave you a ticket to the concert and it was a lot. Like he really bodied that shit. That I'll give him. Like he is a marketing genius, like a marketing fucking genius. The nigga sold more merch. He sold the merch. You didn't even get the album with the merch. I don't know if y'all remember that. Like the merch came out first and we still didn't have an album. Like the what was it? The fucking concert was the 14th. The pop-up store opened like that Friday to Sunday and everything sold out. And you still didn't have an album. Mind you, if you bought merch, you got a digital copy. On top of if you pre-ordered the album, you got a t-shirt. So it's interesting. Like that was really a moment where I was like, you have to respect this man as a brand, not just like some guy who makes shoes. Like now when you mention Kanye, Yeezy is a brand. Just like Nike is a brand. Jordan is a brand. McDonald's is a brand.
So is it fair?
But the album is
that's a standout for you.
Question, Robert. Is it can we say that it's okay for Kanye to evolve himself into something different?
No one's talking about...
No. It's a yes or no question.
Repeat the question, Your Honor.
The question, yes or no, is it fair to say we can allow Kanye to evolve and reinvent himself?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you.
I have a retort.
Yeah.
Is it fair to evolve and let other things in your evolution fall to the wayside? Is that really evolving? Or is that pivoting?
Yes. Just like humans evolved from fire to electricity, but we didn't care to know that electricity should be free. Now we pay for it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If your body got bigger and your dick didn't, would you feel away?
Yes, of course.
All right, then. Shut the fuck up.
This is weird. All right, so now we're going to move into Fade. Fade features Ty Dolla $ign and Post Malone, and is co-produced by Noah Goldstein, Anthony Kalofer, Benji B, Mike Dean, and Charlie Heat. This is one of my favorite Kanye West productions ever because it is a playback to Chicago house music, which I feel like was a big part of Kanye's adolescence. And I hope that he steps into that realm a little bit more. Or maybe like one day, like, you know, I hope that I'm lucky enough to just hear like unreleased Kanye West produced tracks. But I know that there's more from where this came from. And I just really enjoyed Fade. Like I love this song. This song makes me dance.
Yeah.
Did you like Fade before Tiana or you liked it after Tiana?
I liked it before Tiana.
Only reason because I feel like there's a moment with this song where it goes from being a song I like because it was like different at the end of the song, but we would be lying if we don't say that there's a moment where Tiana Taylor changes the course of the song and it becomes completely different.
And you're correct because of evolution.
I mean, she added to it.
It evolutionized the song to make it bigger.
I'm gonna keep it a stack.
Revolutionized, not
Revo. It made it bigger.
Rob, I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't put words in my mouth. I literally just told you that I like the song because of Chicago house music, and then you you disrespect me and ask me did I like it because of a video, and I already told you.
No, what I mean is,
but I'm just saying,
okay, that's fair.
Don't generalize it towards me.
I wasn't trying to generalize it towards you. I'm sorry if you took it that way. I
thoroughly enjoyed this song because when I heard it, I knew, I'm like, oh shit, he's going back to his roots of Chicago house music, which people in Chicago like know instantly, and I just really enjoyed the song. Like, obviously, like seeing Tiana be out there in that video, like I wasn't mad at that shit at all. But I'm telling you, like, even if we never got a video for this song, I would love it.
Yeah, I love this record mostly because I'm a huge aficionado of just like 90s dance music, and from the Mr. Finger sample, like that's like OG Chicago house. But
thanks for that sample call out.
But then you have him sample two other legendary house records from the Strictly Rhythm label. Deep Inside by Hard Drive, and then you have that Tucker record. Oh my God, this is so steeped in 90s house history that it's just undeniable. And it's just, I love the way he flipped everything. And in addition, I would say like kind of like a sequel to this is Ego Death, because he kind of the same thing and samples a couple of 90s house records there as well.
You love this song, Rob. You love this song.
Eli, even if you play it in the background, it doesn't make me love the album even more.
It don't matter, bro. This is a great fucking song.
You love this song, Rob.
You really don't.
I don't love this album.
You love the song, though.
I love the song.
Exactly.
But I don't love the album. Let me feel, Rob, I'm just going to repeat everything you say with the dumbass quotes because it makes me feel taller. Shut the fuck up.
All right, so we're going to go into the next
You're the worst leprechaun I've ever met. You know that?
We're going to go to the next song. The next song is the last song on the album, and this song was added a couple weeks after the album was released. It was originally premiered at Yo Gotti's The Art of the Hustle album release party, and it's Saint Pablo. Saint Pablo is produced by Kanye West and Mike Dean, and it's a sample flip of it's a rendition of Jay-Z's Where I'm From. And and Diddy has taken it and used it as well with Dirty Money. When I heard Kanye rapping on this, I lost it. Like I feel like anybody, like I can hear cat noises over this beat and I'm going to love it. But Kanye was so blatantly like honest on this song. This was old Kanye on this track, like where he was so confident and like pretty much telling us everything that was going on, saying how like confident he was with everything that he was doing, to only ended it by being really honest, saying that he's in mad debt, saying that he's broke, talking about basically he just shared all his trials and tribulations, talked about everything that was going on in his life, and then after that say, and I'm broke. All I'm saying is that when I go, we all go. And it was kind of like the foreshadowing of him talking about his beef, trying to get his masters and everything that he's trying to do now currently. If you listen closely to this album, it's a lot going with what he was trying to do and things that he was trying to implement now. So to some people, a lot of things that he does are like surprising or his rants. But if you really are a fan, you listen to his albums, he talks about this shit all the time. He talks about being in debt. He talks about financial freedom. He talks about ownership. Like these are things that he constantly talks about. But it's just that like when it's on Twitter, it just seems like a lot. But on his albums, he always does this.
Yeah. Are you saying that we're gonna get Kanye West on Clubhouse?
I feel like Kanye West would get on Clubhouse. Kanye West in 2009, 2007, 2006, Kanye West would have been on Clubhouse. But I think Kanye West now, I feel like because like he's not that privy and like he's always late to things, he won't get on Clubhouse. I feel like everyone in his household is making sure that he knows nothing about Clubhouse.
I feel like voice is definitely the next wave, and Clubhouse is definitely proof of that. Even, us being on Zoom right now is kind of the next wave. I think that Yeah, like you just said about Twitter, like nothing is ever really constructive on Twitter. That's not a rabbit hole I'm willing to go down on this platform right now. But yeah, like definitely kind of platforms like Zoom, Twitch, Clubhouse, like that's the next wave. Like there's going to be a time coming where we're not going to be typing shit to each other. We're going to be directly interacting. And I could see Kanye, if not on Clubhouse, definitely a platform similar to Clubhouse that may come after.
Have you seen, do y'all remember the movie Easy A?
No.
There's a part in Easy
Love
A
that movie.
where her brother is sitting at the table and he has a spelling test and he can't spell the word. And the mom says, don't worry about it. In 5 years, you can just use dictation. That's where we're at. Nobody wants to write and type anything.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's talk about this song.
Exactly, yeah.
I love this song. This song is cool.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's all right.
Because you secretly like the album.
It is far from all right, bro. I feel like this is one of the best Kanye songs his entire discography. Like, this is him, as going back to what Taurian said, this is him just getting his fucking thoughts off. Like, and also you could tell that Saha the Prince helped him write this because his cadence is all Saha.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
His
Free Saha the Prince, by the way.
All Saha. Huh?
Is he in jail?
Nah, yeah.
He's in jail.
What? He's in jail?
Yes.
Rob, you got to stop with these things with your agendas. Saha the Prince like freely talks on interviews and freely talks about things all the time, and it's not that. You want to know what it is?
No, he's not. He's not like late. Like free him for an album. Like he's locked up. Free him. That's what I mean.
Oh, he got locked up in jail? He's in jail? What are you doing?
Yes. I don't know. Oh, you thought free him like let him out the deal? Now he's locked up. Free out of prison.
Oh, we gonna have to look that up.
Oh shit! All right. Well, my bad, Rob, for getting on you.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we're at the end of the album, out of 5 waffles, what do you guys give the album?
Wow.
Real
shit.
You said what?
Real shit. I ain't even exaggerating. I said I'll give this shit 100 waffles. Like,
so he said a 5.
5 waffles, Eli. If you had to,
he said a 5.
I think did 5. 5.
How about a 5? Okay.
5.
Julius?
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay. James?
What?
I'm gonna give it 3.5 waffles with some syrup and some banana slices on top.
Hey.
Rob, how many waffles do you give it?
2.5.
I give it 4 out of 5 waffles. The reason why I give it 4 out of 5 waffles is even though I don't mind him updating the album, it is a cheat code to update the album as time goes on because it's just like, you know, like when you finish a test, you don't get to go back and fix your test. So that's why I give it 4 out of 5 waffles, and I can't call it like a perfect rap album. But I thoroughly enjoy this album, and it's very innovative. And as we can see, with More Life, that's what Drake did when he made a musical playlist. Like it was something that, like Kanye is ahead of the curve with a lot of things that he does. And I think if anything, it was innovation what Kanye did, and you know he kind of like changed the landscape, and he just did what he wanted to do, and it was a very Kanye thing, and I'm not mad at that. You know, I'm going to cap it off now. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for listening. What was that, Eli? After I was trying to close out,
I was going to ask you guys like, yo, what's the Kanye album that you guys go back to most?
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations.
That's for everybody?
Yeah, I would say Dark Fantasy and Late Registration and College Dropout are the 3 that I go back to the most.
And Rob,
if you have like a day-to-day playlist, like you have your own personal playlist of like all your favorite songs, they're all in there. Like, is this my Twisted Dark Fantasy? That's like the one that has like the most Kanye on there, or what?
I just answered the question, Eli. Now you're asking another question.
Oh, my fault.
Let
My
us
fault.
close it out, and then you can answer your question.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you cut me off in the middle of me closing it out. You gotta understand, I have to edit these episodes, Eli.
My fault.
And Rob, I definitely knew you were going to say Graduation, because Graduation is the Hype Beast album. So
He's not lying.
it is.
It's true. It's true.
It's the Hype Beast album.
That is the Hype Beast album.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for listening. This is Rap in Order, and I'm Taurian B. I'll catch you guys next time.